Hey everyone, my name is Kathleen and I'm down here in Florida and I have been loving my HTVRont Auto Press. A few of you have been asking me to put something together to show you how I do my slates and why they come out so perfect. And it took me a couple of tries doing it manually, which is a lot of work, but when they came out with this auto press, it is so phenomenal that I really love doing it, and I really love not having to hold down the press for 460 seconds with my hands. That's a lot of shoulder work. So I have been loving this, and so I'm going to kind of put together a request that I had from a friend to do a slate for her, and I'm going to do it with you right now. So I'm new at doing this video thing right now, so be patient with me as I put this together, my first one. And the program that I use to do a slate is Inkscape, and so I'm using a MacBook, and I'm going to do the best I can with using my cutting in and out using my iPhone to show you what my screen looks like, and then also going back and forth showing you the HTVRont. Okay, so I use Inkscape to design my slate, and I'm going to use import a photo into the Inkscape just so you can see how that works. So let me I'm going to cut away and you'll see it. So this is what I do. I open up Inkscape on my laptop, and I'm going to use a template that I've already saved by using a previous slate 6x8 on here. And as you can see, I had an old picture on here, and I'm going to delete that. So this square is something that I've already made, and it is a 6x8, okay? And I'm going to come over here with my MacBook, and I've already downloaded the photo, and I'm going to click it on and drag it over here to Inkscape, okay? It asks me, do I want to import it? Of course I do. And here is the picture. It is a bull that has won a national recognition, and so she wanted me to make it for her 10-year-old nephew that won with this bull. So I'm going to size it a little bit and bring it down here, kind of get it where I want. Now what you have to do is I need to move this black space in front of the bull. You're moving the layers so I can kind of size it in there, and then I'm going to crop it to where I want it. So I click this on, and I'm going to move my layer to the front, okay? And then I can kind of move this about where I want it, and okay, and then what I do to kind of see this, let me size it a little bit down. I really want a lot of the picture, but I want to make it where you really see the bull. So I really don't want a lot of the fence and things like that, but I want the bull mostly. What I do is I click on the square, and I make it transparent just so I can see where the lines are. And as you can see, it's too close right here, so I'm going to move it over just a tad. So I really need most of that. Hope I'm going out where you can see it. Okay, so that's kind of perfect, although I can probably get rid of some grass. You know, it's kind of like a personal choice of how you want to do this as far as laying out the picture. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Okay. Like this part is just the tedious work. We're just setting up the design. Okay, so I think that's about what I want it to look like. Okay, let's see this. So what I'm going to do now is once I get it about where I want it, I'm going to select both layers. And I have to use both hands, so I'm sorry this is crooked. And I'm going to clip it by using the set clip. So as you can see, it cropped it automatically for me. Okay, not too bad. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to send this to print. Now I've already set it up for the printer. One of the papers that I like is the A-Sub 125 gram. I do use the HTVRont sublimation paper as well, but I have to tell you, my favorite is this A-Sub because it feels thicker. When you put the two together, it feels thicker, and the release on this is phenomenal. I love that word, phenomenal. It really does release the ink from your substrate from this paper really well. And so I really like to use this on something that someone's paying for, and I want like a really good color transfer. I like to use this one. When I'm fooling around for myself, I'll use the HTVRont, or if I'm running low, I'll use the HTVRont. It's great paper too, but I have fallen in love with this A-Sub. Also, the printer that I am using is the Epson printer. I am using the Epson 2800. Okay, I've already put in my paper up there, and I have it set exactly the way I want it. Okay, and it is ready for me to print. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, since I have my paper already in the printer, and I'm ready to print, I'm going to plug in my printer to my Mac. So you can set up this printer as a wireless printer, but from one of the a lot of the comments that I read online is sometimes if you lose connection wirelessly, it'll quit in the middle of printing and things like that, and I just don't want the hassle. Kind of like with my Cricut, I will be sometimes in the middle of cutting and then lose connection, and that drives me crazy having to start over. So I go ahead and use the USB just because I know it won't cut out on me when I'm ready to use it. So here's some of the color settings that I use when I go to print. Now I'm going to switch again. So when I go to print, okay, so in my settings for here, this is what pops up. And you do have to install the print drivers, even for the Mac. And I'm going to choose, as you can see, there's multiple printers I have in my house. We wirelessly print a lot of things. But I'm going to use the Epson Series 2, which is what's here. Okay, I'm going to come over here. I just go through every tab just to make sure I don't miss anything. I use page setup, and I change my paper type to premium presentation paper matte. Okay, and then there's nothing here that I use, nothing there. Under image quality, I do change that to the highest, which in this case is 720 by 720. There is nothing under color that I change. It's already set to RGB. And then under advanced is where I do a lot of the settings. So for my slate, I'm going to use standard, of course. Paper size is already letter size. If you are using a bigger sheet of paper, you can change it, of course. But we are using letter size. I do change the media type to premium presentation paper matte here. I change the mode to advanced. Automatic, I change quality because I want the quality to be the mode, the best thing chosen, not speed. I want print quality. This is where I go all the way down to best quality. Okay, mirror image. Of course, you need to mirror image any of your sublimations. Color settings. Because I like the color of the photo and it's already set before I've imported it, or I may have done some changes in Canva or in my photo program, I do not do any color adjustments, so I turn that off. Okay. I actually do not change any of these other settings. I like to look at them, but I don't change any of these other settings. I know a lot of people use change settings because they're having problems with color. They may be having problems with something, the saturation being too high, but I do not. So with that, once I set those settings, now I come back over here to print. So I'm going to hit the print button, and it is going to send it to print. So we'll go ahead and let that print. I will cut in and out on a few of these things because, you don't have to wait for me to 5 minutes for this to transfer over to the slate and things like that. One of the things also while we're waiting for this to print is I do not have my HTVRont plugged in right now, so I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to go ahead and set the settings so it will go ahead and start warming up now, okay? So as you can see me from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this on, and I'm going to set my settings for the temperature to 365. And I didn't bring the phone over here so you can see it because I'm assuming that you already know how to set your temperature, okay? And then I'm going to set the time to the highest, which is 99 seconds for this auto press, okay? it is set for 365 and 99 seconds. So, and the printer is still printing. Now, to do my slates, I like to use the slates from Amazon. It's just the photo slates. You'll see these different brands, different stores on there will sell slates. It'll even come looking just like this, but I get the ones that's from, I think it's called Gersonial, if that's the correct pronunciation. So I like it. Of course, all the slate stands have feet with it, so that's pretty cool. And get this out of the way. So while that is still printing, I'm opening this up just so you can see it. You see how long it takes to print? That's because it is going slow, because you do not want fast print on, and you do not want bidirectional. You do want it slow so it prints correctly. I just kind of wipe this off to make sure there's no marks or anything on it, and it does look pretty good, as you can see. Okay. I noticed also that in some of the comments, people say they warm their slate up for a few seconds to warm it up, and then they press. I do not do that. I have never done that. I use it just like it is. It's actually kind of cold right now out of the box, but I do not warm up any of these. I do not warm up my ceramics or anything like that. I just use these. The only thing I do warm up is like t-shirts or anything like that, but I do not warm up slates. Okay, so it is already finished printing, and I usually wait a few seconds. There's no particular time or anything like that to make sure it's dry, other than, I'm just waiting a few seconds. I'm going to clear my desktop here, or my table. I have my tape out. I know some people do not like the yellow or gold tape. I have found the yellow and gold tape from Amazon. It wasn't the cheapest on there. It wasn't the most expensive. But I have never had a problem with this. And if you want to know which one it is, I can make a link for the Amazon to tell you which one it is. But I've never had a problem with this, using this. It does not leave strips on my cups, on my slates, on my t-shirts, or anything. So I just keep buying the same brand. I have tried this same manufacturer in the clear, just because I wanted to try it, but it would never stick to the paper, to the substrate, and so I don't want that. So this stuff sticks, and then when I take it off, it does not leave any marks. So I'm very happy about that. All right, so here is what everyone was asking me about, was how I do my transfers and stuff. So of course I'm going to place this exactly where I want it. Now I do go a little bit larger because I like to have a full bleed on all my slates. If you're going to do it, why waste this white area just by putting a square on it? So I print my photos a little bit larger just so I can cover every spot on here, so it looks like it was made from a professional. So I think that's important. If you notice, for some of the beginners, see how faded that looks? It is supposed to look like that because it is the heat that activates the color once you go to press it. So it does look kind of like a muted color, and it's supposed to look like that. So give me 1 second while I tape this down. Okay, so I thought I'd turn it back on just so you can see me tape it down, if you can see it. What I'm doing is I folded it over on the edge, and I'm just putting a couple of strips to hold the paper down. Okay. And I will pick it up and show you in just a second what that looks like. The machine is still warming up. I probably should have had it going when I first started the video, but I was so excited to start my very first video. This is my very first one. So it's by no means professional or anything like that, but I just wanted to share. You all have helped me a lot on all the groups. I belong to a few of them, and I learned something new from every group, from the sublimation to beginners to Jennifer Maker and all those different ones, and I appreciate all that. And even the HTVRont Kickstarter, which I was a part of. So this is what I did to just tape it. Sometimes I go a little overboard. Sometimes because I do not want it to move when it's going up and down, so I just put enough tape to go here. I don't use this many on all my stuff, and I definitely don't use this much on my mugs, but I use this on here just because it's going to go up and down. So the next step, when I go to put this together, is, of course, you have your mat. I put a sheet on the bottom here just to protect my mat. This is butcher paper. I buy butcher paper on a roll from Amazon. As you can tell, it's a lot because I use a lot of it, and I don't mind wasting it and by just using it over and over. Because what you don't want to do is use the same piece over and over. You want a fresh piece every time you make something. So I put a piece down on my mat right there. And then here's what everyone's asking. So you see how this is the picture. This is the printed, and there's my slate. I press face down. So before, while this is warming up, when I was pressing face up, where I put it on here like this and it was pressing down, it pressed perfectly, no problem. The problem that I was having was the paper was sticking to the slate. And that's not an issue so much, but what was happening when I went to this press is when I took it off, and you try to wipe it off with like a baby wipe or the cloth or anything like that, it was coming off, but it left like a bubble residue. I'm not sure how to explain that, but you know how you wipe a window and you wipe it, but you still have like those funny streaked bubble looking things, and that's what was happening. And I could never get rid of it. I had asked in a few groups, and no one could give me an answer either, other than doing what I was doing, which wasn't fixing the problem. So I started pressing down, and I've never had a problem since, ever. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to press it down right here. I do not have to use anything else on this press. I do not have to include an extra mat, which I do sometimes when I'm doing t-shirts or some of my ceramics. I will add my extra heat pad underneath it just to give it a little bit more support, but I don't have to do that with the slates. Okay, so I am going to press it down, and then right here I have already torn off another sheet of paper. Like I said, you can never have too much butcher paper, right? So I'm going to put another piece on top of that, just like that. And then once this has gotten up to 365, we will start, and then I will show you what I do. Okay, so the printer, the heat press has gotten to 365 degrees, and it is set now at 99 seconds. And so the only thing we have to do now is, I took this off just so you can see me do it again. I place my butcher paper on top, and before I do that, if you look at it, it is face down. Let me show you again. So this is the paper, this is the slate, it's taped, so this is the front, and I have it face down, okay? And then I'm going to put my butcher paper on top, so there's a piece on the bottom and top to protect the pad, and then once that's on there, it's covered, I press it in. So I'm going to have this on auto, I press it in, and then it goes down, and it is waiting for the 99 seconds. So I will be back when it gets to about 10 seconds left. Okay, it has about 10 seconds left. So you will see it rise up, and as soon as it starts rising up, I'm going to press the R to send it back down again. So here it comes. So there it goes. As soon as it starts doing that, I press it again to send it right back down. Okay, so it starts the timer back over again at 99 seconds. And I actually keep track so I don't forget how many I do that. And I actually do that 5 times. So on the 5th one, though, I let it get down to about 30 seconds, and then I stop it because that's about 460. I have a degree in computers, and I should have studied math a little bit more. So 4 times, that's 99 seconds, and then half of that is close enough, is what I figured. So I let it get down to about 30 seconds, and I stop it on the 5th one. So I'm going to do that 5 times, and I'll come back on the last one. So we're on the last time, and as you can see, I'm getting my gloves ready because it's getting close to 30 seconds. I'm getting my mat out because I've learned that these slates are really hot and it will burn my table. It's just a plastic table, so I'm going to get something to help lift up the tape. So it's at 30 seconds to go. And you can stop the auto press anytime you want by pressing the R, and it will lift up even in the middle of counting. So that's what I've done this time, and I'm going to pull it out. I pull that puppy off. I just throw it on the floor for right now. And then what I want to do is I want to get that off of there, and it's hot. And I'm going to start that. I lift it up, so I'm just lifting up the paper. Whoa, that stuff is hot. And I I pull it off of there. Voila. As you can see, it is perfect every single time. Okay, ouch. Ooh, 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 hot, hot, hot. Okay, hot. Okay, so let me see if I can get, I got my scissors and stuff right here. Let's see if I can, it's hot, it's hot, hot, hot. Okay, so, ouch. It's really hot. So, but I want to hold it so you can see. As you can see, it is perfect. As you can see how the color came through and everything. Hopefully my light's not messing that up. But it is actually perfect and it looks great. So I'm very happy with that. So that is exactly how I do all my slates. You see it has a full bleed all the way over. The color comes out really good. I don't know if you can bleed all that great. Well, that's the best I can do in my dark room. I was trying to help with the light. But it is really, oh, there you go. Oh, there's a good one. Okay, so see how great that turned out? Love it. So all my slates come out great each time. No paper sticking, no glue. It is smooth as a button, and I love it. Okay, I hope that helps someone. You all have helped me a lot, so I hope that helped you as well. Have a great night. Happy slating.